Okay. Well, hello everybody. Thanks for kind of tuning in and joining us for our first official YouTube podcast. We have a special guest with us today, Shaylee, and just kind of a little backstory around her being a former military kid, growing up in Korea, playing volleyball, and now kind of continuing her career at the next level. So a little bit about the podcast. We love sharing stories, exactly like Shaylee's. So we'll kind of just dive into her story and her background with the military, and we'll kind of just explore a little bit more about you, Shaylee, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Awesome. So, like growing up overseas, tell me how was the whole experience in general as a military kid and within sports? Is sports something that's kind of hard to come across, or is it the same as something that you would find in the States?
Definitely not the same as something you'd find in the States. Growing up, when I was younger, it was more of a social thing. So, like in middle school, I played pretty much everything. They do these recreational youth sports types of programs, and it's not competitive at all. Like all the coaches are just volunteers, parents or service members who are trying to get some volunteer hours. So it's people who care about the kids, but the actual competition is not good. Like the training is not serious, and I don't know. Everybody's just there to have fun, which is fine. I played like softball, I swam, I played soccer. I'm not good at those things, but it was, I got to hang out with lots of different people and just, be out, be active.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I was really looking for something more because I knew that college sports was something that I've always wanted to do.
Mhm.
And so I stopped doing those programs and I started kind of doing a lot more training on my own just so that I could focus on volleyball. But yeah, there's not really much structure for military kids. So it was a lot of like open gyms that I would do with, airmen and things
Yeah.
like.
Is it
Now, Shaylee,
because
did you play all of your sports? Did you grow up all of your high school, your middle school and high school overseas?
Yes, I moved to Korea when I was 10 and I left after I graduated high
Got
school.
Okay. And you came from where in the States? Did you come from the States over to Korea?
Yeah, I was in Hawaii.
Gotcha. Okay. Military base there as well?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Awesome. So why do you think like I guess I don't want to say it's not important, but like why isn't a priority? Why isn't sports a priority, or why aren't there people out there like again even a coach? Like why isn't a coach trying to better their knowledge of the game to teach and teach the next generation? Like why is it just more of a no? Sports are just a fun thing out here. Would
I
you say?
think part of it is because the turnover rate is so high. There's just not much time to develop either a relationship with a coach because the coach, if you find a good one, is probably only there for 1 or 2 years. And if you find a player who's invested, they're also probably there for 1 or 2 years. So it's really hard to like build a program, build something that's gonna last and invest. Just I don't know. Yeah, the turnover rate is just so high. And being at an Air Force base too, our turnover rate was even faster than the Army bases, who are usually there like 3 years. We were there for 1 or 2. So yeah, it's just really difficult to
Yeah,
truly invest in anything.
yeah. Once you find that one coach is gone.
Yeah.
Got it, or that player.
Shaylee, talk to me. How did you, obviously, you're playing, collegiate volleyball here in the States, in California. How did you go about getting yourself seen? How did you go about getting your exposure to, to give you your opportunities to come and play over here? Was that something that you did on your own? Did you have a service that you utilized? Explain to us a little bit. How did you get your exposure to be seen to come over and play?
Yeah. So my parents knew that I wanted to do this. So when I was a sophomore in high school, they signed up for a program called NCSA. It's a recruiting service, a recruiting platform. Um, Honestly, it was good because nobody that I knew, not my parents didn't know, like there was no other people who were trying to play college sports. So nobody knew anything about the recruiting process. And I feel like it was helpful because there was a lot of like webinars that I could attend and just, I could do a lot of research on schools. But at the end of the day, like not being seen by coaches was still an obstacle because like as much research as I could do on them, they still couldn't see me.
Exactly.
So I just had to create as much video as I could, whether it was from my high school season. I literally had film from playing with random open gyms and like adults. And yeah, I really think that the biggest thing that helped me was opening up, like casting a really wide net and not being too picky about where I ended up. I knew that I wanted to be picky about like location, for example. Like I wanted to be in California. It's just I visited the States back and forth and I just love it here. But when I was younger, of course, I was like, oh, I want to go for, D1, D2.
Yes.
I want to get a scholarship straight out of high school. But coming out of a military base overseas and never having played club at all, like, of course, my skill level was just not there.
Yes.
And I was just not prepared for the speed of the game. So I started reaching out to junior colleges, and junior college coaches are way more open to like receiving players with less experience and people who just want to be developed, want to move on to the next level, just aren't ready yet.
Yeah.
Did
So
you
looking back,
utilize?
I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Did you utilize social media when it came to your recruiting stuff, like Twitter?
Yeah, so I tried. I did try. That's actually how I started my Instagram, was just posting volleyball clips and like highlights and things like that.
Gotcha.
It did gain a lot of attention, but it didn't. I don't know if it actually. I don't think it helped in a recruiting sense of like exposure, but it did help when I was reaching out to a coach and talking to them about it and say they found my social media and they would ask me about it. And I just think that you have to kind of lay out all your cards on the table as somebody who doesn't have the opportunities that other people do. Like you have to show what other positive traits do I have that, they can't see from talking to me through Zoom or something.
Yeah.
And so I think that building that platform kind of shows that like, yeah, it's not an easy journey and it's a very unconventional path, but here I am like every day trying to make my way. And I think that people see that. And it's just, I think that's like the only way it actually kind of helped.
So obviously, with our mission here with United Sports Abroad is anything that we can do to help a military athlete of any sport overseas is what our mission is. Obviously, we cannot be at every location when it comes to the training aspect of what's really, truly missing for that military athlete. But really leaning on, like you were talking about, Shaylee, is the exposure side. And that's why we've started, USA Sports Media Program. That's why we're here on these podcasts and these YouTube channels so that we can at least bring the eyes and the exposure. I know coming back home, there's a lot of Americans that do not realize there's athletes like you that are playing sports and have those same dreams. And so we first and foremost is want to bring exposure to you guys as athletes. And so another question that I have, Shaylee, obviously you've gone through this now and you're here in the States and you're playing college, and we want to continue to educate the future athletes and especially the female athletes coming up in sports overseas. Now that you have gone through it, would you have wanted some things to turn out differently? Would you have done some things differently? Are some ways that, hey man, I really wish an organization like United Sports Abroad would, help me with A, B, or C? What are some things that we can kind of talk about that, like I said, that maybe you wish would have been done differently for you?
Yeah, I think that when you're playing in a bubble as small as the one that is overseas, you don't realize like where you stand skill wise or like speed of the game wise. And I did get a little bit of exposure from playing camps over the summer, but I feel like most kids don't either don't get that opportunity or just don't even think of it. Like, so I think that just introducing me to like junior college or other opportunities like that at an earlier time, rather than me putting so much pressure on myself to like get to the skill level that I can't get to without training with other people. Like there's only so much you can do by yourself. You have to play the game, you know?
Yeah.
So I think just learning about those other avenues earlier on would have been really helpful.
Yeah.
I could have saved a lot of time and money in investing in all these other opportunities that
Yes.
like just weren't going to lead anywhere.
Yes.
And I think connecting me to people who were like-minded in the sense that I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, because more than anything, like it was a lonely process.
Yes.
I feel like I knew maybe one other person who was serious about trying to get to college. Everybody else, of course, would say like, "Oh, it would be nice,"
Yeah.
you know. I did know a couple of people who ended up playing NAIA and things like that, and I'm so happy that they did. But yeah, it's just not a very common mindset because, like I said, the level is just so low that people kind of have it in their head like it's just not something that we do with military kids.
Yeah.
We just don't do that. It's not meant for us. But I don't think that has to be true at all.
Yes, 100%. We've had some success getting some kids at some high levels. Our first trip to Okinawa, we were able to get a Division I scholarship for a Kadena high school football player and helped other kids. And so that is our biggest mission is, first of all, you have to have hope that, this can be possible. From our trips over there, we've definitely seen a lot of athletes that have that potential to play at the highest of levels. And so first and foremost with United Sports Abroad is, we've got to find a formula, continue to find a programs. First and foremost is going to give the athlete, if I'm in ninth grade, well, I have hope that if I go to practice, if I train and I do this season and I play well, there is hope for me to get seen, get exposure. And so that is first and foremost for us is to continue to bring hope. And obviously using stories like your success, because obviously we don't think you're done. We're going to continue to move on after junior college. Correct, Shaylee?
Yeah. Well, I mean, now I'm past junior college now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I feel like when I went over this summer to run the camp, like I was so proud to say like, yeah, I'm not just in junior college anymore. Like, yes, junior college is a great step, but the goal was to get out of there fast as possible and move on to the next place. And now I'm at a school where I feel like it's a really good fit. Not just, the level of play that I wanted to play at, but also just the environment of the school and the team. And yeah,
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's a good spot to be. So with like any advice that you would give to kids, I know like, again, the hope isn't quite there and there's only a small amount of kids that do believe it or do try to pursue that. What advice would you give somebody or kid to kind of pursue that passion? Are there different avenues and different ways to go about it? Or is it just, you kind of have to switch your mentality to, I'm going to go get this? Or is there like opportunities, like another camp at somewhere place, like something like that? Is there any other advice that you would give?
Yeah, I think that the easiest way to like build your own motivation is to kind of bring other people along in it. Not to say that I convinced other people to try and go for college, but at least to, try and be the best player that they could be in high school.
Yeah.
My parents were super, super huge on developing the kids as well, and I'm really grateful for that. But we used to do these little things over the summer where we would just go to the base gym and invite as many kids as we wanted and everybody who was interested, and we would just run these practices. And I don't think there was much of an investment in volleyball before we did that, but after we did that, the level of our school high school program like significantly increased. And we were, before we weren't doing so well in our conference, and then after that, like our girls team my senior year like made it to the championships against Humphreys, which is so funny. But yeah, like in previous years we had never gotten that high. And it's like little things of keeping the love of the game by bringing other people along with you and trying to just get as many people involved. I think that's the way that you keep your motivation too.
Are there opportunities for young girls at the elementary and the middle school level to play in club volleyball on base, or those things all off base in the community, the local community?
So the thing about Korea is it's pretty hard to do things off base.
Okay.
There are some opportunities to train a little further away, at least from my base. Like you could go to the city or something, but that's like quite the commitment in time and money. For younger girls, especially, I don't know if that's worth it. I think that there needs to be more on base opportunity for the younger kids. And I think that for the younger kids, like you guys said, like seeing an example of somebody older than them, somebody who's doing it, like
Yeah.
to even get them into the sport, I think that's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I trained off base, it was more like a private lesson sort of situation, not like a club.
I see.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just it needs to be a cultural building type of situation. Like you need to see, for example, like yourself, the young group of volleyball players needs to see you go into the next path and next career stop, and feel motivated to go ahead and do that themselves. But because they see it so little, they don't have that culture of, okay, let's go practice extra, or let's go work a little extra harder, because we know there is opportunity at the next level. They just don't see it enough to where there's not that culture, it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no access for elementary or middle school young girls to be involved in volleyball overseas in Korea? Are there any
There was
programs?
youth sports on base.
Just do the
Yeah.
youth sports program, MCCS, FSS, something along
Yeah.
those lines. Okay, but they do have volleyball for middle school age girls.
Yes.
Well, great for us, Shaylee, obviously with us with the United Sports Abroad and teaming up with you, using you as such an example, as that pioneer, and giving these young girls hopes, and continue to tell your story, document what you're doing now in college. We know we just did your first camp over there. We would love to be able to create more camps that you'd be able to come over and host those, and potentially bring other players over. And again, we're in 2025, but maybe by 2030, man, we have done remarkable things of growing the game of women's volleyball overseas, and continue to bring opportunities. And so we're in this thing for the short term, but obviously in the long term, and creating these friendships and relationships with you, someone who's been walking that path, who has a success in playing college. We definitely would want to continue to use you to bring those hopes to the next generation overseas. And then again, as we look for donors, people that want to be being able to help this cause, help us, that we can continue to fly you over there and conduct these camps. So it's so important that we stay involved, keep bringing eyes, keep asking these questions of what's missing, what's needed, how can we guide the parents, how can we guide the athletes as well. And at the end of the day, give them hope that, hey, if mom and dad are stationed overseas, whether Korea, Germany, Japan, or wherever, that there is some hope for me, and we have a platform and we have a path to continue to help.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. Well, if there's anything else on your end, Shaylee, I mean, we enjoy talking to you all the time. We can probably go for hours with conversation with you, but we're excited, like you said, to kind of see what we could do in the future, and grow more volleyball camps, and again, create that culture that there is hope and there is opportunities for military kids to play in college and at the next level, and see examples like yourself and feel inspired by you. So we appreciate you for coming on. And if anybody's interested in United Sports Abroad and kind of understanding what we do, please visit our website at unitedsportsabroad.com and reach out. We'll be happy to help, and hopefully reach out to Shaylee, and we'll make sure we'll share all her contact information, and yeah, we can kind of grow from here. So we appreciate you for coming on, Shaylee.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.